there's good reason to be a little bit worried about a experimental singer-songwriter from the 60s pairing with a metal band from today. Alright, so today let's talk about Soused. Soused is the new collaborative album between Scott Walker and Sunn. Sunn, I think that's how it's pronounced. Usually you see the typography S-U-N-N, then with the circle and then parenthesis. You know, just a few years ago we saw Lulu. Lulu was the collaborative album between Metallica and Lou Reed. It was not good. It was not good at all. No one liked it. No one knew why this would, it just seemed like a bad idea, and it sounded just as bad as the idea sounded. Soused is a little bit different though, because you have Scott Walker, who's really been making music since the 60s. You know, he's really known for two things, I would think, in his career. One of these is his very operatic, very theatrical voice. It's very over the top. The second thing that he's known for is his experimental tendencies. Even back in the 60s, he was really just pushing into uncharted territory with his music, making things and arranging songs in such a way that people didn't do and still don't do. And this was reflected in his album from last year, Bish Bosh, which in my opinion is one of his career highlights. And then you have Sunn, who are also very experimental, but in a very different way. A lot of the stuff is very brooding, avant-garde, jazz influenced, I think, metal that makes a lot of use of drone and repetition. But they usually don't have any vocals to their songs. When they do have vocals, they bring in guest vocals. Well, surprise, surprise, in 2009, Scott Walker was asked to come on to a Sunn song and lay down a track, and he did. And as legend has it, Scott Walker then approached them and said, "Hey guys, I have this project I've kind of been working on with you guys in mind. Let's make this happen." And that's how Soused is here. Whatever you think Soused sounds like, just knowing that it's Scott Walker and knowing that it's Sunn is probably exactly how it actually sounds. This album is marked very much by a dark, deep, brooding sense. 50 minutes long, but only 5 tracks. And, you know, the longest song on here is over 12 minutes long. The shortest song on here is just barely short of 9 minutes. And in a lot of ways, the same themes and the same moods from this year's Swans release, To Be Kind, really pops up here as well. It kind of feels like this album is made to make you feel a little dirty, a little uncomfortable, a little unsettled. Through the use of its repetition, it draws you in and lures you in and puts you in this groove and in this mood that never really goes away. It kind of puts you in there, and then you kind of, you know, you might start hallucinating or having an out-of-body experience or freaking out, and that's exactly what this album wants. But I think that what separates it from Swans is, of course, Scott Walker's delivery, which is, in usual Scott Walker fashion, very over the top. He's singing for the back row, like he's just giving it his all. And so it's also kind of fun hearing him do his Scott Walker thing over Sunn's arrangements. A lot of the times it works really well. The only track on here that I didn't really like is Herod 2014, but the follow-up track, Bull, is probably my favorite song on this album, and it does exactly what I mentioned earlier, where it kind of lures you in through the use of repetition, and it really takes you somewhere that I don't think many albums do, with, of course, with the exception of the aforementioned Swans. I think that if you're a Scott Walker fan, you need to check this album out. It fits really nicely in his already storied career. I find some stuff here that you may not have heard him do before, which again is impressive in and of itself. On the other hand, if you are a Sunn fan, I would say give this one a test drive before you buy it. Scott Walker has distinct vocals, and he's not for everybody. Overall, this is like a 7.0 out of 10. I thought it was quite good, but I didn't really like it as much as, you know, what Sunn usually does, or as much as Scott Walker usually does. But as a collaboration, this album really puts both these artists in some uncharted territory, and that's always really exciting to see. That's all that I have to talk about. If you thought this review was helpful, give me a thumbs up, or subscribe to this channel, or check out earbuddy.net for longer form reviews. Let's talk about this in the comments. Let me know if you liked it, if you didn't like it, or who you would like to see Scott Walker collaborate with in the future. Fall Out Boy, Matchbox 20, Justin Timberlake, Jay-Z, Death Grips, Cannibal Corpse, Slayer, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Rihanna? Let me know. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.